A warm good evening. This is Arunavul Chaudhary. You are on my YouTube channel, Arun Foot. It's another Indian football discussion here as a live stream on my channel. And it was a super Saturday with a couple of games in the Indian Super League. In the first one, Hyderabad FC played out a 1-1 draw against Bengaluru FC. And in the second one, 10-man Kerala Blasters held Northeast United goalless at Kalur. And warm welcome, and as always, like, share and subscribe to the channel. As I say, if you're new to it, again, if you are regulars, please do like the video, do support the channel, and let's keep on growing as well. And thank you as always for your overall support. Let's start with Zoravar's statement today. FIFA AIFF Academy U17 lost to Jamshedpur U17 2-1. This is the so-called development promise where it seems like another scam making. Zoravar, if it was only the AIFF, we can talk about it. FIFA is involved. I don't know how long these boys have now been training. What's the state of their training? I would think that this Jamshedpur FC, which de facto is the old Tata football, like in the old days we would have called it Tata Football Academy. I think a lot of these boys have been training together for 3-4 years. Maybe even longer. So therefore, give it a little bit of time. I think it's too early to judge. And I think that's the first game at a certain level for this team. So let's not get overexcited, or let's not get too worried about it. Give them time. There are good coaches behind it. Let's see where they can get us. Hi, Blue. Welcome back. Hyderabad FC drew Bengaluru FC, which they probably should have won. Blue, it's one of those weird ones because it was another match. If you listen to the post-match with Gerard Zaragoza, it was, he said sorry to the fans, but he also said, terrible first half, this, that, and everything. But at the end, there was the blame. It was the ground. It was the referees. It was this. It was that. I am really getting fed up. With these coaches. Sort of where I think is like, where were the mistakes today that you want to pick out and say, this is the reason why we didn't win this match. I think Gerard Zaragoza needs to ask himself and his coaching staff and think about, am I making too many changes? Am I trying out too many things in a too short space of time? That is the question that I would ask internally at BFC, because I think BFC should look at themselves rather than looking outwards, because after 6 games, 16 points, they were at the top of the table. Now, after 16 games, 28 points. It's not at the level that BFC started the season, and therefore, I think it's showing that BFC has not had the best of runs. 12 points from 10 matches, 16 from 6. I think that says it all. No goals conceded in the first matches, and now they've got 21 goals conceded. So I think that tells a story that Zaragoza and his team have not been up to the mark that they initially set by themselves. And and that's why I don't know where his criticism comes from. Rushra says Northeast United poor attack. I didn't understand this thing is. Northeast had over an hour in advantage, and one has to say, sorry, Ivan, that was stupid to react that way. Aladdin Ajarre, if you're in your team, will say you were smart. If you're an opponent team, will say, hey, ugly to do that. But Ivan has to only blame himself for that red card. And I don't understand why Northeast United were trying to shoot from outside of the box. Why didn't they get into the box, play the ball in, get someone like Guillermo in there? I honestly don't know. I mean, whatever the thought process was behind it, it didn't make sense to me. But again, who am I to say? And to me, it's one of those crazy ones where I still haven't understood what Northeast United were trying to do in that second half, because they had Kerala Blasters on the ropes. Blasters defended greatly. Sachin Suresh, lucky on a few occasions, one has to be honest. But, so therefore, that's it. How can you blame referee when you just have one shot on target in whole match against Hyderabad in the first half? They had 0 shots. Bro, that's my point. That's my whole point. That I feel, or I don't know, I might be wrong, but my feeling is that Zaragoza has made it an art because, what did he say? Oh, I can't show this football to people in other parts of the world. Sorry, my friend. Nobody's asking you to be in India as a coach. If you think that is so bad and you're highly paid, no one is forcing you to be in India, right? And sorry, but this is becoming terrible from one coach to another. Everyone is blaming the referees for their mistakes. Are the referees making mistakes? Yes, but in most of the matches where these people are complaining, there is nothing to complain. That is the point. Where is today something to complain in this match? That the ground is the ground. Listen, even in other parts of the world, grounds are not perfect. Look at grounds in Europe at the moment with winter weather over there. So what is he complaining about? Why are you making so many changes in your team match after match? And it doesn't suit. You're resting your best players. I think Zaragoza needs to be looking inward rather than looking outward. It is very bizarre with this whole criticism today. He took Hyderabad FC lightly. I'm not sure if he took them lightly. I think he misjudged. He misjudged the whole situation and thought his team is better. And that is something which is which is a problem to me. And that behavior, sorry, that is not acceptable. Zaragoza needs to be better. And again, I appeal to the All India Football Federation to start coming down heavily on these coaches. That is done in the rest of the world. The Premier League has come down. The FA has come down in the past heavily on Guardiola, on Klopp, on Mourinho for these allegations, because it riles up also the fans. The fans think that the referees are the problem. And we have this whole discussion around the referees, which I think is not justified at the moment. The referees are not perfect. Again, I saw today in the Bundesliga situation, very crazy. Bochum against Leipzig. The calibrated line wasn't working, right? And you can see when the footage is stopped, that the Leipzig striker's foot is is a little bit offside. You can see it in the photo, but you don't have that calibrated line. As the calibrated line is not working, they gave the goal. So I am talking about the Bundesliga. I'm not even talking about the Indian Super League. If you guys think, if people out there think that VAR is going to be the savior of Indian football, we will have continued discussions. It's just that it shifts the discussion to another area, and that's the problem. And that is something which really, really makes me annoyed. That none of these coaches, no one is forcing you to be India. If you think that Indian football is not worthy of you, this is what indirectly Zaragoza said today, right? If Indian football is not worthy of you, Zaragoza, please, folded hands, go back wherever you want to, but don't coach in Indian football if you don't have the basic respect for Indian football, for India, for our referees, and for our institutions. Get lost. Tata bye-bye. Nobody needs you in India. Simply said. I'm fed up of these coaches who rate themselves their godfathers and all. If you were such a great coach, you would be coaching, I don't know, La Liga or somewhere else. But if you're coaching in India, show them a little bit of decent respect, right? If your team is screwing up, talk about that. Why are you blaming everybody else? That is getting on my nerves. The same thing that Owen Coyle has done, the same thing that Carlos Correa used to do. Even Oscar Bruzon has started with it. And this is becoming a joke in its own self. Ben Ali's done it as well. If you don't think it's worthy of you, go somewhere else. Tata bye-bye. Nobody needs you in India, right? There will be other coaches to come in. Bengaluru would be pretty much as good a team now. There is a windows open for Dishan Kerala, 100%. But this also shows you, we're talking about inconsistent. We're talking yesterday about Mohun Bagan in regard to being inconsistent, right? But he's gotten the wins. This league is just about inconsistency. It's just trying to get enough wins to be going to the top. I've said this now X number of times. We have a quality issue, but nobody wants to address that quality issue at the top level, at our youth level, at our grassroots level. Again, we have a problem. And I have a feeling that some of the foreigners who come in, who are good players, their level drops. And that's what exactly I remember Sunil said in the recent past in a podcast, where he said, you know what, if Messi comes on to India, his standards probably would drop. And that is what we're seeing, because these foreigners are training day in and day out with the Indians. Again, one or the other most probably is becoming an Indian. I don't know, but that is something that's it. What is your opinion regarding BFC Hyderabad for Mohun Bagan context? Perfect result, Zoravar. For Mohun Bagan, If the others aren't winning, even getting a draw is good enough. If Goa does win tomorrow, it's that 1-1 against Jamshedpur is fine for them, right? So it is at the moment for me, very, very simply, as I said in the video that I made in the morning, it is for Mohun Bagan to lose. Yeah, very simply, it's for Mohun Bagan to lose, and that is something which, Mohun Bagan not winning it with now where we are at this stage of the league, right? FC Goa is the only one who can. Goa and Jamshedpur could still close in, but Mohun Bagan is going to win it. And everything else would be a surprise to me. Northeast United FC failed to break teams who play low block. First one's voting now. Karabas FC 10 man. Blue, that's with the low block, with the way they set themselves up. To me is that's the general problem, right? That's, for example, the concept of Jamshedpur FC. So therefore, that's where we stand at the moment. Another day, another coach blames referee. Yeah, Zoravar, joke. As I said, it's becoming a joke, and the AIFF needs to come out heavily on these coaches, either hand out proper fines to them, or East Bengal needs to be fined with that ridiculous press conference that did. All of that, it needs to stop, because it's not helping the system. If this is your distraction, if you're not, this is the problem with these coaches. Either I hope that internally they're speaking differently, because Zaragoza is becoming a joke, because I didn't understand why he was complaining against Jamshedpur the other day. Today it was even worse, and Owen Coyle was publicly exposed by Robin Singh. That is embarrassing if you're standing there. We're talking about someone who's coached in the Premier League at the highest level. That is just embarrassing. And that is the reality of these guys. Sorry, not good enough. Good evening, gear on rare. Northeast United draw every time. I don't like Proshwa, but that's the reality, right? They're unable to score. Players are doing stupid activities and conceding red cards. They should put their heads down and work towards playing good football. Chetan, very well said. And if anyone comes around and says, this, that, and everything, Ivan, sorry, that was just sheer stupidity. You don't need to do that in that situation. I know sometimes in the heat of the moment, you want to react, but that is a smart. I remember Baiching Bhutia used to do that, especially in the derbies with the opponent defenders, with friends of his. I remember Surkumar got once a red card. Shubrato Pal got a red card for that. That's what, if he's in your team, you'll say he's a smart striker. If he's not in your team, you'll say, he plays dirty. It's like Jorge Pereira Diaz, right? He's a nuisance. If he's in your team, you're very, very happy. If he's in the opponent team, you're not. Happy with both games today. Zaragoza made good statement. Poor game from his team, poor from HFC, and poor pitch. No comments on ref, and all both teams play pathetic. Gear rare, then how is it a good statement? His main topic was the referees, and he abused Indian football. He said in Europe and the rest of the world, people should not watch Indian football because it's that bad. Sorry, how is it a good statement? How can you defend that, right? And poor pitch. Listen, even here in Germany, in England, and Spain, you have a poor pitch. You have to adapt. We are so arrogant these days that we think that in India we'll have smooth pitches and everyone plays on them, right? These are realities. These are government-run grounds. Look at the ground of the Kerala Blasters. Because of that dancing world record, with what kind of state those people left it behind. These are realities. If you don't want to work in these realities, please go elsewhere. Simple solution. Someone else will come in. But this is becoming a joke, a running joke. If you're defending your coach today, sorry, it's not working for me. I am fed up with these coaches. There needs to be action from the AIFF. There needs to be hard and tough action, and that needs very, very clear, because it is becoming to the ridiculous, because people like you, who I feel understand football, even you are defending the coach. Not working, sorry. Hats off to Hyderabad FC, the way they defended the things. Yeah, they defended, and I would say Hyderabad actually had the better chances to win the game. Why, with all quality player education, Indian OCI struggles to make into even a championship team? Is it because of competitiveness in British football? We don't have that many players of Indian origin in England, right? The system. So yeah. So we don't have star players, right? It's not Indians, it's South Asians in the UK. So yeah. Do you think that Guru can play in U19 teams of lower tier European leagues? Blues are still, as I've said multiple times, with this boy, I'm not sure what is his best position. Today, suddenly he was playing wing back, right? And did okay. What is his position, right? What is it? Physicality wise, U19, Europe will not work. He's too weak. And he just doesn't have the attributes. And that is something which he needs. But it shows that if a boy like this can keep out an Ayman and Azhar, we were speaking about those guys last season. Nihal Sudesh has been sent away. Let's see. I meant a star player in championship. We don't have star players in the championship as OCIs, right? Yeah, maybe Danny Bath as a centre back, but the other players are there. But those players, even if they're not top, they're still better than what we have in the national team at the moment. Look at our national team players at the moment. Indian football team need origin player in ISL next season in upcoming year. Tripurasa vlog, I don't think they should be playing ISL. They should be given passports, and work it out that way. That's the best thing to do. Iban was in the wrong. Red is correct. Yes, sadly. So therefore, that's the problem. In my opinion, that's the problem. We are nowhere near where I think we need to be, where I would like to see us. But these kind of things, this is, Ivan is again picked up. I was thinking when he picked up his card, Lalchung Nunga at East Bengal is another one. These guys are very, very regular with their cards, picking up regular cards, too many cards. And sometimes these rash either tackles or unnecessary outbursts, not needed. And it's the 30th minute. Your team has to play over an hour. That's the reality. Hi, SB 1994. Do you think BFC can win the league shield after the last two games? After the last three? I mean, they've got 1 point out of the last three. If BFC don't change something and the coach also gets his act together, no, I don't think BFC. I think if at all, a crazy one would be Jamshedpur, and the other one, FC Goa. I think FC Goa, East Bengal is important. If FC Goa win tomorrow, then FC Goa are the one who are potentially chasing Mohun Bagan. 6 draws back to back. Yeah, Pablo's except so many draws. It's that part of the season. It's crunch time. Teams are risking it, but they're not very clear. Good saves, good last minute things. And that's the problem. I wish if Hyderabad FC win game today the way they set the midfield is such a great example. Chunga Hamar, for example, right? But Chunga Hamar, we saw a few times in the last 2 seasons. Today was the first time that I've seen him play well. Dylan Markandi, Zorawat today, today or yesterday, he went down the leagues. He's now with Leyton Orient, so he's gone on loan to Leyton Orient. Hyderabad FC looks more comfortable when it comes to pressing today. They created good chances as well, but finishing was not up to the mark. Otherwise, it could be 3-1 for Hyderabad FC for sure. Yeah. They look better, right? They look better than in the last few weeks. That is surely visible. I think this was one of the best games that Hyderabad have played so far this season. One more worst decision on refereeing. Shumit, what decision? What decision? Seriously. There is no... What did the referee make mistake again today? There were no mistakes today. His decisions were spot on. That's the problem, right? Most of the things that people are complaining about, starting with the coaches, are not mistakes. Today, fans are saying refs are betting in I-League as Inter Kashi FC won against Aizawl FC with 3 on goal and can't believe they're blaming without seeing. I saw a bit. Edmund goal was a deflection. That's why on goal. Blue, the problem is that, to me, that's the whole problem, right? People are discussing things. 5-5 Srini Deccan against Shillong Lajong, right? Insane game. And then a 4-3 comeback for Inter Kashi. That's football. The I-League has been unpredictable. I've seen crazy matches over the years, even commentated, So therefore, let's see. But what am I gonna say? That's the problem. People live in their conspiracy world and like to, as you say yourself, so many people blaming without evidence, and that's the whole problem. That's the whole problem of this whole thing, that people are blaming doesn't work. Was Store the problem? The same team looked good in defense with Purushottam last 5 games, 3 win, 1 loss, 1 draw. Any thoughts? KBFC, yeah, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It seems that you naming Purushottam, I think that it is Thomas Schorsch, who doesn't come to the forefront because he doesn't have proper licenses. Yeah, and therefore those two guys, yeah, most probably are doing a better job than Store earlier. I'm not defending Saragosa's statement on ref because I know every foreign coach blame ref in every game. Yeah, but generally that is the one which to me at Gear and Rare sticks out, right? If he had just spoken about his own team, he said sorry to the fans, brilliant. But when he goes that path onto the referees, and we're like, there is nothing. And then, no one outside of India should be watching the ISL. The football is this, that, everything. The ground is this. Yeah, it's. I think Kerala Blasters stopped attacking all out and tiring themselves after Store left. Yeah, maybe the system change also. I think Adrian Luna is much better, but he's not there where we've seen Adrian Luna. But Adrian Luna has improved. I think that's also a very, very important thing. So, yeah, that's going to be a thing. It looks like bottom teams started playing good nowadays and top teams dropping points. Yeah, that's a fact. But that's been happening every year, right? I mean, this is not a new phenomenon. We've seen that over the last 2 years. So let's see. Good evening, Ornavada. Here is good night, by the way. Yes, I know. For you guys, it's already a little further down the road. Here it is 5:37 p.m. In India. It's 7 past 10 p.m. Markandale played really good in League 2 and got loaned out to League 1. Yes, let's see what he can do at Leyton Orient. Good for Dylan in the English system. Where is Vidyasagar Singh at the moment? Ranjit Chaudhary rated him highly after becoming a league top scorer and joined KVFC. He just vanished. Zoravar, he's at Interkashi. He's now at Interkashi. He was at Punjab FC last season. Now he's at Interkashi. Yeah, another striker story who's not made the cut, who supposedly was great in the I-League, but is not good enough for the ISL level. So don't you think AIFF should pass a strong statement against the teams who are blaming referees regularly? It looks really stupid if any team can't blame to win any game, target the referees. SB 1994, yes, that's what I'm saying. So for me, I think the press conference with Trevor Kettle was that one step. Again, Trevor Kettle as a referee, how good, how bad, it's not for me to judge what he was, because I've never seen him be a referee, and therefore what is on the field and off the field is a different thing. But if you watch the Indian Super League referees year on year, I would say they have improved quite a bit. I know a lot of people will contest that, but from what I have seen, what I feel, I think they've become better. The number of mistakes are less. But hey, let's wait and see. Is Borja playing tomorrow? Shumit is. I think it was turned around. I think yes. I think his AIFF disciplinary committee turned things around. I think he's playing tomorrow. Guys, stop pointing out ref. It's all about how teams play. As in BFC fan, clearly say no chances created, no shots on target. So how can we expect a result from Havas to Zaragoza? Yeah. They all make comments on ref, but they never see the gameplay of the teams, which I feel we must look beyond as fan. Yeah. That's Gavin very well said. I think that's the problem. I think most of the teams, I don't know, what would you guys feel? I feel that the quality in the Indian Super League has dropped over the last month. Do you feel that? The league seems to be, of course, Mohun Bagan at a different level. The rest of the league is like, everyone can beat anyone. So let's see. How is a talent pool 10 years ago compared to today? Murali, if I look at the 2014 draft of the Indian Super League and look at the players today, I would think that 2014, the quality of the players was better, which makes no sense to me, but that's my honest feeling. If you ask me, I would say that the quality in 2014 was better than it is in 2024-25. And that's the problem. I mean, we see that week in, week out, right? So therefore, yeah, I was expecting a complete domination from Interkashi in I-League, but it's turning out turning very unpredictable. Babalu's animation, I've got friends at Interkashi, and I told them they thought, we've got the team, and this I-League is a crazy one. This I-League is the most unpredictable league that you can have. So let's see where it goes. But to me, I feel that Interkashi will have a tough task in getting promoted. That's their aim. That's what they want to achieve. And therefore, for me, will be interesting to see. The I-League is, as I say, the I-League is a crazy league, but Interkashi remain in second position behind Churchill with Namdhari. That's a crazy one. Namdhari FC and Interkashi second on 17 points. Churchill have 19. All of them played 9. Shillong Lajong Gokulam have 13. Srini Vivekan and Rajasthan United have 11. Real Kashmir Dempo SC have 10. Think about Dempo is 9th. Dempo 3 rounds earlier were actually second only to Churchill Brothers on goal difference. Thereafter they've lost 3. Delhi FC have 9. Aizawl FC have 6, and Sporting Club Bengaluru, bottom of the table, have only 5 from their first 8. So therefore, they've got a match tomorrow. Let's see what they can do. So that's the crazy one. I mean, these matches, it's getting crazier as it is. What is it? Sorry. People who says our past India team is better compared to today, you advise them. Morally, again, comparing football over the decades is very, very difficult, because I go back to something that Franz Beckenbauer once told me, one of the biggest, if not the biggest name that we have in German football. I would have thought that he said, we used to walk football in the 70s. That's what Franz Beckenbauer said, right? Compared to, he said it, I think 18, 20 years ago, right? And I was sitting there and he was telling us in the evening. And so therefore for me, that's something which is very, very point. So therefore difficult to compare. I can only compare to 10 years ago, where I see, I don't understand why the quality of the basics of our footballers has actually gotten worse. That's my only question, right? Physicality and all, okay. But why is our football getting worse? And that's very, very worrying. Still, I think Super Giants will lift the shield. Yeah, Shobik, I would agree with you, even though Zoravar says don't trust Lord Molina. I would still agree with Shobik. Anything but Mohun Bagan Super Giant lifting the trophy would be a surprise. Unhappy with Kerala Blasters today. Their style and command of game changed, which can impact the environment of league. I hope they make a good comeback ASAP. Yeah, let's see. It was a chance to put pressure on Northeast United and Mumbai City FC, who are above the Blasters, but they lost that opportunity. Just to look at that, Northeast now on 25 points, Mumbai City on 24 points, Odisha and Kerala Blasters on 21, but Blasters have already played 17 matches, Punjab 20 on 15, so therefore it is still on. Chennai on 17. They need a winning run to do something out there. So therefore, will be very, very interesting how this top 6 race continues. Dushan Lagator, last match, red card not conceded in IS. How big is basketball across the world? It has it's very popular, of course, in the US with the NBA. It has its pocket where it's very popular here in Europe, in Africa, South America, Central America. So it has its pocket. Jan Dunder's team, Hearts, if he's going to be relegated, most probably. ISA clubs can get him. I don't think so. I think he'll get an opportunity in the British system. Do you think Germany has better injury management and medicine compared to India? Yes, Murali. Simple answer. You are right, sir. The quality of league is going down, no doubt about it. But so-called fans, management officials will accept it. No, they won't. That's my concern. When we're talking about something like this, I think we need to talk about, what's the current situation. And to me, that's a worrying sign that in the Indian Super League, the standard seems to have dropped quite a bit in the recent past, and I think there's no logic to it. Why has it dropped, right? So therefore, for me, that's a concern, and yeah, let's hope that it gets better. But I feel that certain players are showing tiredness. I feel certain players are yeah, they've played too much of football. So let's see. Definitely the quality dropped even from last season. Yeah, Blue. Certainly that hasn't. It's at least to those of you who are watching it, you know, that's something. I think which is working for you guys. Shobik says Surova is that Supergiant are getting goals from set pieces in every match, and defenders are also contributing scoring goals. Exactly. They're not only their strikers are scoring, but other players on the field are scoring as well. Very, very well said by Shobik. Right. Over in half an hour already. Wow, that was quick. If you haven't and you're liking what you're seeing, what you're hearing, do leave a like behind on this live video. 7 likes only so far. I think we can do better, and share it with other people so that we can get more people to watch it, and also do leave a subscription behind, and do watch also the shorter videos that I make on a regular basis. Today I did something on Mohun Bagan Supergiant heading towards defending their ISL League Shield, and also I do mention you guys again, some of you Mohun Bagan fans are quite critical on that matter. Does Churchill brothers have money to play in ISL or the Mohammedan? Blues, they have less money than even Mohammedan. They will, they will need an investor to come in. So otherwise, yeah. Or now, according to you, which club in the world has the best manager right now? Oh, that's always a difficult question defining, because, see, the best management is defined also by the results on the field. I know a lot of good managements. Again, Bayern Munich is one team who have had always good management. Bayer Leverkusen in Germany, last 3-4 years, they've done really, really well. City Football Group, Liverpool Football Club would come into that. Good management. So yeah, there's quite a few of them. Watch the Srinidhi Deccan FC was Shillong Lajong FC match, 5-5 super match, but the bad refereeing cancelled the last goal of Lajong FC. I've heard it, I've not seen it, so therefore I can't judge it. Bad refereeing seems killing thrill in football. Yeah, you might say that, but again, I've just said it in the ISL. The coaches are misusing that refereeing factor. Referees make mistake. We just had a massive mistake here in Germany today with VR, with the scaled line not available. Leipzig able to score of that. So therefore, yeah, what are we talking about? What happened to Bengaluru? He started exceptionally, then faded out. Zoravar, it's a good question for which I at least don't have an answer. Maybe Geron Rare as a BFC fan has an answer. But I felt that, at the start they were exceptional. And then in the end, it looks like, after, for example, their whole defense was really not conceding goals. I'm not sure. I mean, it looked odd to me. But yeah, at the end of the day, most probably the quality has been lacking, right? And it's something that I thought, on consistency also. I mean, even though today one has to say Sunil once again, great goal from Ryan Edwards. So let's see. Chetty's mentality and hunger is what Indian players should admire. Retired from national team bench last season, whole time, a lot of things going in his mind, and he's playing like a debutant. Yeah, very well said, Chetan. Sorry, I watched the training sessions of Renance Foundation Youth League, Nopang League. I was amazed with the level of abilities kids possess. Each touch and turn, everything looks much better. Again, those are kids, right? Let's see where they come and where they, So let's see where it goes. How every single English clubs, even fifth division, have their own stadium. Average League Two club has better stadium than any ISL side. Akash, because they've invested into infrastructure. That is an investment which, to some extent, the clubs do, but very often they get the help of the council, of the city, and that is something which in India you're not getting, right? You see, again, Kerala Blasters to me is a good example, who have shown how important they are, that stadium is handed out for a dancing world record, which isn't what you would never do that in a cricket stadium. Huh? That would be blasphemy in India. In what aspect you say our previous player better? Is the basic good or technique or intention, do you think, and generation? Footballer can have luxury with a past player really was good. They were better in the basics. They were better in the technique and intention anyway. I think the mentality was different. And the current generation is spoiled. But to say that a decade back the players were not well off would be wrong. Our Indian footballers have been pampered for the last 30 years, I would say. As long as I've been around, I think from the start of the NFL, if you look at the salaries that the players have been getting, it was high at that time. Now it is super, 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 super overpaid. By the way, today, Mohun Bagan club members in a meeting organized by them were seen fighting within themselves on stage, throwing chairs towards each other in the presence of TMC leader Kunal Ghosh. Shobik, welcome to Kolkata football, right? They will never learn. If they increase number of teams in ISL next season, quality will go more down for sure, which is a real concern, I feel. General, I've said it. 10-team league. Anything more than a 10-team league in the ISL makes no sense, in my opinion. Very, very honestly, with all due respect to everyone, we have too many teams. Very simply said, and therefore that's the reality. We don't have enough players for a 13-team league. 4 or 5 years ago, there was a news about Red Bull takeover. As you go this year, Red Bull became their partner. No, there was no takeover, Akash. RB Leipzig, the German team, and FC Goa wanted to do a cooperation at youth level. That did not happen because of COVID. So that's it. There was no takeover news as such. Blue says, Shobik, true. To be honest, RPSG taking over the football department was the biggest boon for us. Else we would be another East Bengal. And Blue, that is something that you accept, and my respect to you for that. So therefore, for me, because I think a lot of Mohun Bagan fans will not say it. And therefore, I think Mr. Goenka and his team, they're not perfect, but again, they've done a lot of things right and they've used their experience. And Kolkata football with their club structure and management in a professional ISL doesn't work. That's it. Lajong's goal was absolutely online, but referee gave it offside. We need serious refs, not part-timers. Yeah, Akash, you're not going to get better ones. Where are you going to, I don't know, clone some refs and all? As I said, Bundesliga, I was watching in the afternoon with VR, and it's visible. I mean, I don't need a line. I don't need that calibrated line. Everyone can see it, that the foot of the striker is in an offline position. It still is not, still it's not given, right? So what are we talking about? So yeah, wake up to reality, I think. Once a football playing quality go up, standards such ref management all will go on high note automatically. A lot of hope. Where is that quality going to come? As long as our coaching doesn't get better, as long as our administration and management doesn't get better, it won't. The refereeing is as good as the league. The refereeing we have, is as good as the league. That's the reality. Do you think India faced same issues during Indian Arrows project? How could those young players? Monali, we faced some of the issues, but this Indian Arrows project gave these younger players who are coming out especially from the under-17 national team, an opportunity to play at senior level. And playing at I-League level for these boys was a level of experience that helped them then to make the step into the ISL, clearly, right? Be it Gurpreet was part of that generation, JJ, Dika, Pritam Kotal, Probir Das, Pranay Haldar, all these guys were part of that first Indian Arrows batch, right? So, yeah. That's why most of the Mohun Bagan supporters don't complain about Goenka's majority stake Mohun Bagan AC's football division. Are you sure it's a majority? If I look at the whole 80K discussion, that was not a majority, right? Reliance Foundation, Young Champs, Nupang League. Zoravar, that's a grassroots program that Reliance is supporting the Mizoram Football Association within the Nopang district of Mizoram. In last few games, I feel BFC made mismanagement of playing 11. They missed a trick by benching players like Williams and first half. Yeah, I think they're playing around too much with the first 11, right? And certain players have not stepped up, and I think Zaragoza was trying to also factor in some of the players who've come back from injury, this, that, everything. It has not worked. The only one who's really worked, who's come back from injury, has been Ryan Williams. And you saw Ryan Williams cross, Sunil Chhetri goal. That's class. Is it coincidence or that since 2019 I'm seeing Uzbekistan flags in Mansi Stadium? Was confused then to the sign of football coincidences. They signed him in 2025, XYZ. Yeah, needs to be right. I don't know. When I went there, I didn't see the flag. If I'm going, where was that flag? I don't know. I have not seen it. And if it was, then it's a coincidence. Appala. Do you think majority of European team and English league team owned by Middle Eastern side? No, they're not. Sure, would you agree in retrospect that ISL in some ways indirectly hampered Indian football? No. I think Indian football would be even worse without the ISL. A lot of things have happened in the last 10.5 years, which would not have happened if the ISL hadn't come around. Let's be very, very honest about that. If the ISL hadn't come around, a lot of development things that have happened in Indian football would not have happened. And that's something which is something which can't be discussed. That's factually the way it is, because otherwise, as I say, infrastructure, broadcast, facilities for fans, all those things would be even worse, and those are also factors. Again, overall, the way that teams travel, teams accommodations, how you take care of teams, coaching staff, support staff, all of that has really grown exponentially over the last 10 years. Was the poor coaching which pulled us backwards further more from the rest? I think that's the main thing, but ask the Indian coaches, they think they're great. That's the biggest problem. The Indian coaches, like the players, overestimate all of themselves, sadly. In a recent interview, Kibu Kunya said about recent refereeing issue that Indian referees have similar standard as the players. They can also do mistakes. Very well said, Kibu. Very often, very reflected person understands that, right? Therefore, yeah, he's right. So many American personalities investing in lower division English clubs. God knows why don't Indian politicians don't invest like them. I wish I had money. Akash, because you have to open your books, na? And in England, if you have to open your books, there is no jugaad. So there were certain people who've been interested over the years, but when they had to open their books, they all pulled out because the books are not clean of a lot of Indian corporations. Let's be honest about that. In the past, when India hosted Commonwealth Games, bridge collapsed. Is the similances happening in a part of the world where the international media system they should not host those scenarios? I wouldn't know of such things. I don't know. Don't remember, Murali. He also said usually coaches don't forget the decision went in their favor, but complain about that go against them. Of course. Kibu is very, very right. Right. Only wishes that Goenka realizes the importance of youth development, starts investing grassroots. If you want to realize his dream making Mohun Bagan Super top Asian side, we need good grassroots. So I was very right, but I don't think that's So that's the thing, right? Yeah, but it's not a priority for him. No? It's not a priority for them. So in my opinion, that's part of the problem at the moment, right? That he's that you need to work on. So therefore, for me, if he really wants to make Mohun Super Giant a top Asian side, those are the basics. But he will, so That's the thing. Akash, Indian corporates not investing because our corporate is currently more busy investing in technology, EV, and other stuff. No, rare. That has nothing to do with it. As I said, they're not in a position. Yeah, that's glorifying a thing of why they're not. They are investing in sports in other ways. Again, only cricket. But again, let's not get into that discussion. And Indian football is somewhere totally different. Goenka needs to get rid of old guards of Bagan. They think club is their father's property. Yeah, but yeah, it's something that they need to work on, right? Which player in international football is overrated? Morali. At the moment, I would say Neymar, right? If you look at them, Al Hilal have not registered Neymar for the second half of the season. So that's a big step of theirs. In India, we have VIP box in stadium. What about Germany? Is there anything? Of course, we have. We don't call it VIP box. We call it business area, business seats. That is something which you have around the world. If you had seen I-League in 2011, 2012, you would have never said this. Today's broadcasting of I-League 3 is better than 2011's I-League. Yeah, Akash, true. But again, as someone who's done some work for Z in the past, when was it? 25, 26, 27. You cannot compare it. You cannot compare it to today because the technology has improved massively. Today, again, you can do streaming, which was unthinkable of 20 years ago. The streaming options were just not available. So technology has moved on. I mean, I remember we took Hoffenheim to the northeast, to Mizoram, and had to do a broadcast. There's even a video of that, Mizoram versus Hoffenheim. I'm the commentator. The broadcast quality is pathetic, right? It's really pathetic because you couldn't even do HD, and then the cables, the cable lines and the uplink was so bad. It was embarrassing because it was broadcast into Germany. But that was that, right? So therefore, things have moved on a long, long way from then to technology has become much, much better, much, much easier, accessible. And you guys won't even understand that when I started IndiaFootball.com in 1998 and I was dependent on the help of certain journalists around India, I sometimes waited for 10, 12 hours to find a result, right? There was no WhatsApp and there was no social media. They used to send emails with the results and they had to go back to their offices sometimes, or even if they didn't go, went home and, sometimes the next morning you got the results. So therefore, we have come a long, long way. I know that people, you want to watch everything. But again, even if I was the AIFF, I would always say, listen, we're trying, but every match is not going to work. It's like this SSEN criticism. Yeah, you can criticize them for not showing the matches at Rajasthan United. But then the question is, why is it that the Rajasthan United matches are becoming a problem, right? And the question lies with the club, right? But they're not finger pointing, which they could, but they're not doing it. So I give them a little credit for that. Again, these are realities. Currently in India, JSW, Reliance, Adani Group investing heavily in sports. Yeah, but in India, they're not investing internationally. And what are they investing in, right? That's the thing. They're investing in franchise teams. Are they really investing in the youth and all that stuff? BFC, very good example. BFC invested a lot. Is BFC producing Asian level players? That is the question here and there. You as a BFC fan should be asking them. Should be the question to a Darren Caldera. That would be my question. So Darren, are you producing players who are better than Sunil Chetri at Sunil's age? You're not. We need Venkatesh is not better, right? And that's your best talent at the moment, or a Shivaldo. That is the real problem. I used to watch I-League matches on Z Sports. Absolute laggy, dark, horrible broadcasting. Yeah, but Akash, as I said, it's it's much more profitable to invest in lower division English clubs than in Indian football. No, Akash, it isn't profitable, but your losses most probably are going to be less. If you're investing a lot, let's take the example of Wrexham, the investment, the famous Wrexham AFC in Wales, with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney with their investment, until they break even, it's going to take time because they have invested so much into the team. They're now investing into the infrastructure of the training facilities they've invested into or are investing into the stadium. Now they're trying to get into the championship. That's a lot of investment. So therefore, in England, the investment is overpriced. So Are you going to hold your investment for 10, 12 years to get something out of it? Most probably your investment can only get back if you can sell to someone else. Any instances you felt foreign coaches and players didn't understand about India, they expect things to expect as it is in home Europe? Yes, Morali, today. Gerald Zaragoza, in that post-match interview, that is another example. Mohun Bagan, top Asian sides first, let them beat Bangladeshi Maldives club before that game against Tajikistan club. Yeah, but XYZ, that's what he said. Let's see if they can fulfill it. Curious question. Yes, we know India is not powerhouse in sports, but areas do think India better compared to Europe. As I said, in certain digital things, India is better, but other things we find very tough. I think Indian football lacks organizational structure a lot at basic level, which hurts us from coaching to youth development. Yeah, 100%. But I say, what are your problems? Very simple. It's not rocket science. It is very, 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 very simple. Sort out your grassroots. Sort out your youth football. Sort out your coaching. Sort out your competitions. Sort out your scouting. And it'll roll. That's it. And for an institution, let's say like BFC, with JSW background, don't depend on the Karnataka State Football Association or the Bangalore District Football Association or the AIFF. Join with others, join hands, and do your own stuff if need be. ISL matches today. See the emoji. League matches today. Yeah, a 5-5, a 4-3, 17 goals in 2 matches and 2 goals in the ISL. But again, Chetan, the problem is that some people say, the I-League is this, the I-League is that. But the problem is, at the end of the day, there is also a lack of quality in the I-League. I'm happy with SSCN quality, quite good. I'm happy with paying 299 rupees. Yeah, but I know I've seen a lot of people are cribbing about it. I-League teams scoring 5-6 goals on a regular basis. Is there the lack of good defenders in the league? Raj, I think so. I think that's a problem. There's a standard issue with defense, and we already have a defenders problem in the ISL, where I think in the ISL the foreigners cover a lot of that, and in the I-League that sort of gets exposed, right? So that's the thing that's happening. So for me, in the I-League, why is it there? You have Castaneda at Trini Deccan is a top class striker. He most probably should be playing in the ISL, but he doesn't, right? So therefore, these are things that are happening at the moment, and yeah, that's why it is the way it is, right? So therefore, it's a challenge, and let's see where it goes. Do you think financial book in India is not clean when we compare to Europe? Yes, 100%, 100%. Apart from Otis, Mumbai City will go for more players or not in this window. Rachit, as far as I know, they have targeted certain players, but again, outside of Probir Dash, they haven't been able to sign anyone. Jordan Mobile Paul from BFC 13 looks promising last year. Let's see how much he performs in A15. So now let these boys play. Don't throw out names. Don't create unnecessary hype or pressure on the players. Let them play. You follow it, know it, but don't hype it. That would be my request. Mohun Bagan can be one of the best side in Asia level, but they need permanent infrastructure, youth academy, good coaches in youth level, and money. Someone please send me a message to Super Giant. Yeah, gosh. And therefore, Mohun Bagan cannot be one of the best sides in Asia. You summed it up. They will never be one of the best sides in Asia, because as long as there's no grassroots investment, as long as there's no youth development investment, and as long as whatever we think is a lot of money for Indian standards, I mean, in Saudi Arabia, I think none of the players would wake up for the money that you pay in there. So therefore, forget it. What Mr. Goenka is investing, he would have to invest, I think, what someone told me, 10 times of what he's investing into Lucknow in the IPL. Then we can think about what can be said. I think the AIFF elite youth leagues are overrated. What's the use of winning a 10-match competition? Is it better if we focused on state youth leagues rather than pan-India? See, some of them are playing state leagues, and the state leagues are qualifiers for the higher level. The problem is, in most regions we don't have enough teams. So therefore, yeah, I do understand it. You understand it, but not the official stakeholders and administration. That's why I'm always saying involve young professionals in good areas of sport instead of giving them sales jobs. Get on rare. You need some experience. Young people, very nice thought, but in India, most of the young people are not practical enough on these thinking. Even the older people, that's my biggest problem. You have to have a realistic approach, a practical approach. That's also missing. Considering the injuries, how about the idea of a team being allowed to register 7 foreigners for the season? 6 will be allowed for matches squad and 4 in the field. Actually, I think that was discussed and turned down by the club. But it was turned down, I think, by most of the club, because it means a 7th player means that you have to spend even more, right? Underrated player, international football. I would have said, despite getting the Ballon d'Or, I would say Rodri. I think now people realize his importance after his injury, what he was to Man City. Any news about FSL AIFF deal? Akash, people are floating a lot of theories around. I know that these proper conversations have not had. I know that there have been feelers sent out here and there, and both sides are at a stage where the AIFF would like to have much more money. Would like to have much more money, and theoretically FSL is saying, you know what, give us the ISL, give us national team, and we'll pay you much less and you take care of the rest. Let's see. We have such a huge pool of young people who can solve the problems in sports, from business to performance with their things. Or should I say, we just want to give them sales part. I don't think it is that easy. No, I agree in terms of broadcasting professionalism, payment issue which has improved, but the quality of the players haven't. Yeah, but Turbo, that has been a downward spiral for the last, I don't know how many years. That has been an issue with Indian football, because the others are developing. We aren't, right? We've been living in a bubble for 50, 60, 70 years where we think we are of a certain level, we are of a certain quality, which we aren't. That is, at the end of the day, the whole problem for Indian football, because we are not there where we would like to be. Therefore, it is now showing. Raju Gaikwad was good a player. How good he is technical. Raju Gaikwad is a player that I signed at Mumbai City in 2014 for the ISL. Of course, there were 2 reasons behind him. He was one of the few Mumbai boys in the draft, and I knew him from his days as Indian junior captain, and he was decent. But again, didn't keep the promise. That is also the problem with players like Raju. Ashish Negi of Kerala said that I-League should be based on Indian players only. It will increase regional fan base of the clubs and player development will be enhanced. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Where is the regional fan base to grow, right? There are teams in there who have their fan base, right? And they will come this way or that way. But most of the teams, if you're focusing on Indian players, will even bring even more players from the Northeast. So there'll be a lot of Manipuris and Mizos moving into the I-League, and the standard of the I-League would be diluted. And I-League 2, yeah, gives opportunities, but is I-League 2 really better than it used to be in the past when foreigners used to play? I don't think so. Punjab is doing good in terms of youth development. Shobik, they still have to prove it, right? They've one other player here and there, but where is that? Where are the players? Again, what I said with BFC, BFC is doing a lot. FC is doing a lot. Where are they bringing the players through? The players are taking 2, 3, 4 years to establish themselves, right? Bryson Fernandez is a good example. Of course, injury. Yeah. Do you think player is fear going to abroad? If they fail, will they get chance to play? I said they fear they might lose their position. No, Morali. The fun one is, the weird one is, Baichung, abroad, failed, much better salary when he came back. Sunil went abroad, failed, came back, much higher salary. Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, yeah, could have done more at Starbeck most probably, but came back for a bigger salary. So no, that is, even Sandesh, despite failing in Croatia, not even playing a second, got more money when he came back. So no, that's not an issue. A bunch of guys can start and run a club, Tektro FC, but so-called legacy club management were not able to make a good team in stable environment. What are you doing this on comparison? Gear on Red, you are comparing apple with oranges. East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, Mohammedan Sporting are 100+ year institution. How old is Tektro? 2 years? 3 years? I cannot make that you can't make that comparison. It is much easier to manage a young franchise or a young team than compared to those institutions with all the interconnections that there are between East Bengal. And there are reasons of why East Bengal is failing. I said that the other day when I was very critical about this whole referee thing. And if I see that, I think, got a lot of flack from East Bengal fans for that, which was quite funny, actually. Over 1,000 people have watched it. That's the reality. So therefore, you can't make that comparison. You can't compare that. So therefore, you have to compare what teams are, what they are not, and then try and figure out. Why do you think City Football Group is not spending on its youth setup as much as they are spending abroad in their teams? Raj, because there's certain commitments that need to be fulfilled from the Indian side, and and certain other things in certain other areas. And I think as long as there's no clarity, what is the future, long-term future of the ISL? I think for City Football Group, it makes more sense to invest in other areas in regard to talent development, because we are nowhere near. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, you know what, they came in and promised for Indian players to go here and there. Listen, their scouts have come, they've been watching, they watch our videos, it's part of their database. They must have realized we're not there. And that is something which also the Indian players, be it a Chankte, be it an Apuya, be it a Vikram, who are the cream of our players, that they most probably found out from City Football Group, you know what, if you like it or not, but we are not going to be able to place you here or there. In India, everyone looks for a shortcut rather than working from the grassroots. With sports and military here, people think they can develop indigenous fighter without investing on indigenous Indian. Yeah, so very, very right. Keep the things aside, please, because there is no shortcut in army and all. Yeah, there is. The problem is that there is no shortcut in anything. Look at manufacturing, right? India said we will replace China in a lot of things. We've not been able to. And why? I always say, my simple example is the cab driver in a Dubai, in a Abu Dhabi, in a Doha, I guess it will be the same in Saudi or in Bahrain or in Oman, are mostly people from South Asia. They follow the rules. They follow all the rules. And in India and Bangladesh and Pakistan, Sri Lanka, whatever, they don't care. So that's the thing. Our people are capable of things. But we always look for the jugaad. We always look for the easiest way, the shortest way out, and that does not help India. That is harming India in a big, big way. Over an hour. Oh, wow, I didn't realize it. An hour and nearly 4 minutes. If you haven't, do leave a like behind. Share the video with others to join us in these conversations. 11 likes so far. I think we can do better, guys. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you for that always. We are slowly growing here at arunfoot, and get more people involved in our conversations every day. Voila. I think the level of the players would drop even further if we get rid of the foreign players in the early. Exactly my thinking. Therefore, I say, Ashish Negi says a lot of things that I agree with, but again, I don't have to agree with everything that he says, and this is, it's not going to help. Honestly, having only Indian players has nothing to do with regional fan bases. Maybe reducing foreigners on the field for players development. Do agree with it. Somewhat badly with number 10s and 9s. But Rushabh, in the I-League, we have every year someone or the other who's an Indian striker, somewhere or the other breaking through, then going to the ISL, and in the ISL club saying, you know what, you're not good enough. So therefore, that is not a problem. That is, see, you need that competition. And if you take the foreigners out, 100%, it will reduce the quality of the league. And the other thing which will happen, this regional thing of support. Shillong, I get it. Aizawl, I get it. If Niroka or Tao was playing Manipur, I will get it. Kashmir, I get it. The Bengal teams, if there are Bengal teams coming up, have a limited support because people in Bengal only support the big three. In Goa, none of these, Dempo, Salgaonkar, Churchill or Sporting Club have any substantive supporter base. Gokulam Kerala seems to have lost most of their supporter base. They used to have 20,000-30,000 people coming to the MS Stadium, and so these are us, and therefore that is something which is a reality. Do you think our players are not ready to face adversity and develop, but in case of Africa, the situation circumstances give them to rise? It is not a question of the circumstances or situation. The players want to risk it and want to get better. Our players are cushioned, are put into, we put them into cotton and wool and they're happy with their lives. Yeah, they don't need to go out. And also, that's a problem. In sports, all the investments is on leagues rather than grassroots. The reason why we struggle to produce world-class talents consistent as the ones who do usually achieve it by beating all odds. 100%. Ram, a very, very good observation from you. This is a very, very important point that from an Indian perspective, most of the successes that we get is because these athletes are doing it on their own. They're achieving that success because they're trying to do something. They're trying to work their way up. I always say, Sunil Chetri, despite of the system, Baichung Bhutia, despite of the system, these guys have worked hard. Lalinzwala Changte worked very, very hard to get to that level, right? And that is sadly reality. And therefore, very, very good point, Zoravar, very, very good observation. And therefore, we are better in individual sports than team sports. I think the only two exceptions are, but again, how many nations play them are cricket and hockey. Everyone says our ref is quite poor, but I feel a person of old times, they became more responsive, fit, and better in some extent. Here on rare, yes, and I would go to the point they are much better than they were 10 years ago. I know some of the ref, I used to go crazy. Some of this are really a joke, right? And I remember I had a conversation with the then director of refereeing of the time, and who people now say who should be brought back. And with all due respect, Trevor Kettle could be the worst referee in the UK, but he's still better than all the lot that we have in India. That is the reality. This whole Indians first that a lot of people propagate in Indian football. Very nice, but show me the quality. You don't have it. But now with how much money it costs to set up a good scout team to find out good foreigners at reasonable price rather than inflated price like PSC charging the amount of cost getting. Shovik, it doesn't need scouting money. It needs a realistic. The problem is the market is now overpriced, and that is thanks to Mohun Bagan and now also to East Bengal, which is then followed by all the other ISL clubs to some extent or the other. And then the I League clubs are also overpaying their foreigners, or forget foreigners, even Indians. Someone was telling me a figure of someone earning in crores as an ISL player, as an Indian. I was like, if I was looking, the problem is, I shouldn't even saying what I would be paying those players, and that's a problem. A scouting team is not the issue. If you have a couple of guys, you don't even need scouts. The guys who do research about what's the quality of player, who could come in, would they fit in the system? It's just doing that homework, interacting even with scouts. With agents, having the right agents on board who are offering you, money value. So that's the easy thing. What is BFC doing? Not that I'm complaining, but they are not doing favor on these by losing opportunities of catching up. Aurithro, the coach is experimenting, in my opinion, too much. The coach is supporting this inconsistency of the team, in my opinion. And that is the problem of BFC. The BFC, with the potential that they have, are unable to step up their level and get better. So therefore, we South Asians lack discipline. Yeah. Which makes us fool and we think we are doing great. Yeah, but acceptance is a big problem. Any Indian player you thought this player born in wrong era, if you're born in present time, you would have been born. Murali, don't compare era to era because football has, as I said earlier, football has changed a lot over the years. Therefore, nah, I don't think so. Any instance you felt common man had better awareness and knowledge compared to football expert? Yeah, those happened, right? I also think China developed after their massive investment in primary and secondary education in the 80s and 90s. Recent government rather most students from fifth standard can't do second standard math. I wouldn't be able to make that judgment. South Asians aren't skilled enough. I wouldn't say that, Blue. You know what? Okay, yes. Okay, yeah, sorry, you are right. What I would rather say is that, you know what? If you look at the educational system in South Asia, it's very theoretical, right? I tell you an example, a fun one. Two friends of mine, one who's Bengali, who's come here to Germany, and a very good friend from school here who's German. Both of them are so-called IT engineers. As an example, I think I did that 20 years ago. I asked those two guys, you know what, if I would give you a PC, can you take it apart and put the personal computer together again? Right? The German immediately said, yeah, of course, no problem. And my Indian Bengali friend said, no chance. So the practical side of things is needed. And if you don't have the practical side of things, you can't produce things. And that's the problem where India suffers. Bottom line is that if there is no systematic grassroots league, then it's over fast because other countries would have upped their level by X times. Anand, very good. Very well said, yeah. That's the need of the hour. And of course, players of origin. Do you think Singapore cannot be in top team on Olympics but infrastructure development still they're lacking? Murali, I don't know enough about Singapore. I would think that Singapore's problem would be that Singapore is just simply too small. So their potential base of talent is lower than other places, right? I don't know how many of you agree with me, but the internet and social media among our kids also destroy the things, and in comparison, your kids, Japan kids spend more time on skills which benefit. Yeah, could be. Sorry. And later the system helped them to get success at higher level. Could be. I'm not sure if it is 100% right, but again, I can't say for Japan, but yeah. How to rate Armando Colasso Blue and his time, what he did at Dempo, exceptional. What he was trying to do with the national team was bound to fail. So, good night, Shovik. See you again. Why Coco Kerala lost its base? Raj, I don't know enough to be able to say why. They were connecting quite well. Is it due to COVID? I'm not sure. Pre-COVID, they were getting some good numbers, but I don't know why. Again, this is something. It's a phenomenon, right? Why have the numbers been dwindling for FC Goa, Mumbai City, Northeast United as well? You know, it's a trend across the ISL as well. So, you know, teams which used to get decent crowds of 10, 15, 20,000, why are they getting less and less? I wouldn't know, to be very honest. Isn't investment on any sport league a commercial one? I mean, if we're talking about investing in grassroots, is it commercially viable? I think grassroots investments, it need to come from government. Rushabh, normally, you're right. The investment into any sports league is a commercial one. But normally you make money at the top level and then spend it, right? The money that, for example, FC Bayern Munich built a campus at the time cost them little more than 70 million euros, right? That campus was funded by the club with money that they've saved over the years, and they've even spent more money to upgrade technology, enhance, make it bigger. Most of me now the investment is more than 100 million euros, right? But that 100 million euros will then, you will say, okay, even though they only gave the finishing touches, but they brought in players like Jamal Musiala, Alphonso Davies came through. that academy setup. Paul Vanna, who's not playing for them, but again, Pavlovic. And the same can be said about La Masia, right? The old La Masia, and then Barca spend money for that new training center outside of the city. Those changes were done. So therefore, these academies are worth it. But the problem is in India is the franchisees are losing money in all possible leagues, and that then brings you into that difficult situation. Is if you're not making money, how you're gonna reason your investments. So that's the challenge that we face at the moment, right? So therefore, yeah, not easy, but to me, that is the thing, that you need to be commercially viable at the top, so that from the top you invest into the bottom. But if you are spending the money that you're spending, for example, as I say, Mohun Bagan Supergiant, Mr. Goenka, for what he's spending, I think easily 5 to 7, maybe even 10 crores he could spend on grassroots and youth football and would still have the same quality of a team. I think the quality would not depreciate. So therefore, that is smart investments, and that is not happening in Indian football. As I said, India invested only on higher education rather than primary and secondary. Reason why we don't have a workforce which is required for industrialization. Yeah, very, very interesting, very valuable points, guys. Yeah, that's a big problem India faces. South Asians got skill things is in this region. We don't value skills and pay very less. Half of Europe tech things is running by South Asians. I wouldn't say half of Europe, maybe more Silicon Valley, here and rare, but we have a certain substantial amount of people who are from South Asian or Indian background. Honestly, as someone who was begging for a team at school level, leave investment, we need regular sports competitions at school level where it's ensured every school participates in more sports. Rishabh, that is another angle. School sports is again an own set of problem in the Indian system. I think education needs to accept that sports is something which you actually need to implement and need to have at least twice a week, if not thrice a week, ideally, and then have that infrastructure and build on it, right? What makes I-League and ISL different? Is it the quality of foreigners and Indians? And Pranjal, first of all, it's the quality of foreigners. In the ISL, normally the foreigner quality is much better. Secondly, it's the quality, as you say, of Indians as well. It's also the quality of coaches. It's the quality of pitches. We've got a lot of artificial turf pitches in the I-League. Travel is not the same. Stay is not the same. So therefore, everything is interlinked. Broadcast is not the same. So yeah, that's the thing. No one talking about Devendra today, feeling like saw the old one, Devendra of FC Goa. Yeah, good goal. Not only him, I think this is the best match Devendra played. Chunga Hamar, for example. To me, Chunga Hamar was the man of the match, if you ask me. But this was the best that I've seen Hyderabad play in quite a while. But again, BFC allowed them to play. That's also a fact. Curious question: how do you see online hatred towards India? They criticize crowd chaos when they visit. Is this thing exist only in India? As a person who lived in Germany, how do you see it? Yeah. Well, I'll tell you an example, and you will not like it, but that's the reality. For example, I always jokingly say, when I used to regularly travel to India, I got onto the flight in Düsseldorf, 600 people, A380, lines, people wait, take their time. Okay, get on the plane. Get off in Dubai, quickly eat or drink something. Have a hot chocolate and then maybe have something to eat with it. Then go towards the flight. And it doesn't matter if it's Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore. That's all flights I've done. It is like X number of lines converging at the front. And there's no difference if you're eco, nowadays you are premium eco, business first. It doesn't matter. It is utter chaos. And therefore, you see always they try and keep the flights towards the side of the terminal. It's not in the middle. They try and keep the European and the North American flights in the middle. With the African flights, it's the same thing. Same experience when I went to South Africa. So therefore, this chaos thing, it's just not online hatred. It is reality, right? And it is for an European to come to sit. Germans love, for example, their cars and they love to drive. And I jokingly always say, tell my German friends, why don't you sit up front, India? And then you see those guys, they're doing all like this because they're shit scared because your car is going to hit something. This is reality, Things are merry in cricket as well. A friend of mine is a cricket coach, and he himself says that even in cricket, the players who usually make it big are ones who fight through the system. So now, cricket is also not as big as you think at grassroots and youth level, right? People tell me a lot of cricket players have come through because of their sheer will and desire to try and make it. Given I talked about mass level skill, we have enough in highest level in IT sales, etc. The many workforce can work in manufacture. How many people are unskilled and do farming only? Yeah, Blue, very right. At grassroots cricket in India, aside a few states, same as Indian football. Even worse, football is actually better organized at grassroots level than cricket. But who will say that? Sir, is the Khelo India initiative helpful? Tobo, if you ask to me, I can only see what I see with football. I would say no. I can't speak for the other sports, but I don't think for football, the way that they've tried to build it, it makes any sense. No. If we say, just like we lack grassroots in football sports, we don't have good primary education system, more I see looks like similar pattern. Yeah. Blue, again, we can, if you want the conversations we have on football, you can most probably generalize on a lot of aspects. And again, we know a lot of things, most probably what happens in the urban centers. We're not even going into the rural parts of the country. We are speaking here in English, right? We're not speaking Hindi or Bengali or Malayalam or Tamil or whatever other language. These are all realities and facts which are there. And therefore, yeah, that's for me the big challenge. So, that to me is the big challenge that we face of where we are at the moment, where we could be, should be, need to be, but we are not. That is the sad part. The thing where BCI does better than AIFF is by hosting yearly U13, 15, 17, 23 cricket tournaments. But cricket is a different sport. It is easier to host cricket tournaments than a football tournament. That's also a fact to me, right? What is the franchisee fee at ISL, and is majority of the fees used to do marketing? Rohit, the franchisee fee depends on certain clubs. The original franchisee fees, it is between 12 to 15 crores. And no, it is not mainly spent on marketing. It is most probably it goes in and then via the central pool, that money sort of again comes back to the franchisees. So it goes in, goes out. It's used for the operation of the league. And again, there are franchisees most probably who've not paid their franchisee fee over the last few years. So that's another thing when people talk about that franchisee fee, which isn't a joke in itself. So now, yeah, 15 crore, not all. Again, between 20 and 15 for the regional franchisees. Do you think talent identify work better than India, but in India, everyone forced to work other dream? Yeah. If you ask me about, so yeah, of course, in every area. Hi, Kumar, welcome back. You are a true football fan if your own football club fans abuse you when you give your opinion on stupidity of your club. But given rare, that's not just an Indian phenomenon. You will see that there are fans of big teams around the world. For example, if you criticize Real Madrid fans will have a go at you. If you criticize United fans, they'll have a go at you. Chelsea, every club. But the point is, at some stage, then the fans turn on that club and the players. We've seen that with United. I see that at the moment massively with Borussia Dortmund, where Borussia Dortmund have been on this crazy search for the next Klopp now for the last nearly 10 years, and it's failed for them. It's some of the biggest clubs, right? Barcelona, they've criticized the management, but then in the other instance, for example, Real Madrid, I don't know if you saw those things against Celta Vigo yesterday. That's a joke, right? That looks like match manipulation where the referee is helping Real Madrid, right? It goes to that. If East Bengal fans want to blame Mohun Bagan for the things, just watch Real Madrid. It actually happens. It actually happens. If you want to talk about match manipulation, look at La Liga when Real Madrid play. Look at Real Madrid when they play the Champions League, because it is just too common, right? Where we can discuss that, but yeah. With so many new foreigners, especially European, drive on Union Street, they're terrified, they're overwhelmed. Of course they're overwhelmed, because nobody follows the rules, right? In Europe, if I'm driving straight, I drive straight. If I'm not going to zigzag, and lines are there for, you have three lanes, you drive on those 3 lanes. You don't create 5 lanes out of those 3, right? And then you've got a cycle who whistles by, then you've got a scooty, and then you've got an auto, and then you've got a toto, then you've got a rickshaw, then you've got this, you've got that, you've got people walking through. Actually, when you're driving a car in India, you need to have a 360-degree view of driving. And my very good friend, Mr. Randy Singh, once said to me, when he once gave me his keys and said, "Now we're driving Kolkata." I said, "Forget all the rules that you follow. Just look forward, go in, don't bother about the rest about you. Just be strong." Yeah. So your platform is true for football, where family is so good and don't abuse each other. Here we have true football fans. Kudos to our footy family, proud member of it. Thank you very much, Garen Ray, not with you, but all of you guys, that we are having this conversation. Again, it is sometimes, yeah, if we like it or not, it ends up being critical as we're talking about it. But these are all sadly realities of where we stand with India in the year 2025, right? I think the country, be it football, be it anything, everything else, India has a lot of potential, but we don't do anything with that potential. And that is for me the scary part, when I say we need to do more, and football just reflects everything else. Do you think India is chaos for a person who is not from India, especially a person come from a structured country? I remember when they tried to cross the road, India is not for beginners. Murali, 100%. 100%. Crossing the road, being driven around on the road, India can be overwhelming for people who come from abroad. It is, again, for me, because I have Indian roots. I have lived in Kolkata. I've lived in Mumbai. I can make my way around, but I also, in my head, it's a big explosion happening every time when I see some stuff, and it's let's see. I think India always, go top to bottom, which in context of our population completely backfired everywhere. But we're still doing it. Like government pays successful athletes, but not helping path of success. Yeah, Blue, they do it in every field. Once you're successful, once you've made it, so that's the thing, right? India is a third world country, and it's because of our people. Hard, Akash, but I think in our discussion, I think all of us would agree. And but would the government understand it? Would people understand it? That's the problem, right? And football, again, football just reflects and mirrors what is all potentially going wrong in India at the moment. One thing I like about you, you are very honest talking about brutal reality about India. Yeah? We even talk about the brutal reality in Germany if we were talking about generally about Germany. Yeah. Sir, does FS still want to take over the national team? No, that's under the AIFF. But again, they've held, they're holding the marketing rights, and that is the thing that they max. But running of the national team will be with the AIFF. Yesterday was Germany with Switzerland match of handball World Cup with my German friend Oliver Trout. Yeah, Akash, but that's, watch handball, watch basketball. You can watch here volleyball, ice hockey. Yeah, that's handball is a great indoor sport, especially in the winter to watch. The reason Indian politicians don't look at the education issue is because almost all their kids study abroad. Just saw from Kerala post on X where their owner's daughter has graduated from a university in London. Suravar, very, very, very valid point. That's a fact. People who have money send their kids abroad. People who have money nowadays move abroad, right? As I've seen a lot of people move to Dubai, and a lot of people who I know from across India have been moving to Dubai, left, right, and center. And to me that is like, TK, why? It is, but these are all realities that we have in this year 2025. So yeah, sadly it is. Will the IFA Shrachi ever come when Bengal Super League? Supposed they are. Let's see. When I'm in Kolkata, I'll try and find a more. Not people, but politicians, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember Kolkata. Kerala FC official page congratulated the owner's daughter. That's how you see, their priorities. How do you see video of India is not for beginners? Do you think these kind of videos send wrong message about India to foreigners? No. Murali, it sounds bad. But if you throw a foreigner and you say, I don't know, Delhi is like Dubai and Mumbai is like Doha or Singapore, you'll get a shock when you come out of this. I was telling friends, my best friends, last time I was in India, we met in Gurgaon for dinner, and sat down and yeah, and we met in Cyber Hub. And Cyber Hub looks really swanky, polished, this, that, everything. But I was telling my friend, and my friend is born in Germany, right? He's also Bengali. We're school friends, but he's now senior guy at one of the advertising agencies. And I said, you know what, this could do well, but see how not clean the place. For Indian standards, it was clean. But for Dubai standards, it was not clean enough. Small little things, and that's the way it is, right? And you're hearing honking in the background all the time, but you will not hear in Dubai. So these are sound pollution, for example, is something which in India is a problem, right? No, our people are third class, and we choose politicians amongst us. Yeah, gosh. Look how Westerners started to hate Indians because of our civic sense and behavior. But sometimes I say, sadly, that is. I saw that civic sense. For example, in Cologne, we host Durga Puja. I am the president of the organization, and one basic thing we say: we serve food twice, 2 hot meals a day, lunch and dinner. And we tell the people, once you're done, just throw your trash away. Keep the toilets clean. A lot of people don't throw their trash away. The toilet looks like there's been a war going on in the toilet. This is the reality, sorry, right? This will never happen in a German function, except if it's something which is late evening and has too much alcohol, but that's a different scenario. A normal eating celebration will never get to that level, right? Zorawa, good observation. Roman Thappa settled in Dubai now with family and made comments on Virat game and captaincy. Yeah. It's time we come out of our foreigner obsession. It shouldn't matter what the others think of us. Jobo, yeah, but then India needs to itself understand what it needs to do to be better. And again, football is that reflection of India. We think we are something, but we are nobody, right? That is the reality. If people tell me, you know what, our passport is worth this, that, everything, and everyone respects it, so nobody cares about these kind of things. Nobody cares what a passport you have or what a passport I have, right? They look at you and look at your behavior and ask you, where do you come from? I realize that someone like me, I don't have a German face. I don't have German hair, German skin. But in the Middle East, I realize that the Westerners or even the Arabs very often ask me, where do you come from? Because they see me and they automatically think I'm South Asian. And then I say I'm born and brought up in Germany. And then they very often say, okay. Why? Because I unknowingly, I supposedly walk in a different way. I talk in a different way. I behave in a certain different way. Because, that's how we've been brought up. That's the reality. Does FIFA allow a football federation president to contest in local MP elections? If not, then how can KC campaign for BJP despite being AIFF president? So now there is no, FIFA has no restrictions on what you do in your life as a president or member of a national federation or a state or regional federation. Most of the people around the world, I guess, who are presidents or vice presidents or treasurers or whatever, will be either politicians or business people or so that's the most normal thing. So I don't know what the problem is. Even in Delhi, for example, with Anuj Gupta being an owner of a club and being Delhi SA president, as they call it now again. So to me, take this example, which I love to always say. Borussia Dortmund, a long-time president, Reinhard Raubal, president of Borussia Dortmund, chairman of the Bundesliga, DFL, of the Deutsche Fußballliga, which is the parent body of the Bundesliga, and a senior vice president of the German FA. In Indian context, everyone would shout, conflict of interest. Dr. Reinhard Raubal, senior lawyer in this country, will say, I need to know when I'm wearing my hat for the club, when I'm wearing my hat for the league, when I'm wearing my hat for the federation. And this is developed sports ecosystem. Yeah. If I was, as I say, working for an ISL team or an I-League team, doesn't matter. I was part of a state FA or I was part of the league. And on the other side, I was part of the AIFF. I would have to very, very clear. Is there an instance Olympic athletes walked out of field like football? Morally, don't know. Honestly, or don't know at this moment. Visit San Francisco Bay Area, look what H1B IT Indians are doing. I'm not talking about mess Indian Punjabi students created in Canada. Yeah, but they also can, Akash, right? Even Virat is moving to London. Yeah. And this whole instance with Saif, will most probably force a lot of people or will make people think to move out of, especially Bandra. No, we have problems. We need to fix it. Start from acknowledging this. I live with Indians and all our PhDs. They behave like beggars. Yeah. Akash, very, very, very important point. It doesn't matter. We are not talking about the rural people or the poor people or the lower strata of society. It doesn't matter. I'm talking here at the Pujo that people who are management people, IT people, even owners of company behave like someone will clean after me. And in Europe, we don't have it. We do it all ourselves, right? So that is a realization we need to have. Whenever India chooses the wrong path, choosing English as medium of instruction, a technical subject instead of learning a language which destroys the education system. Okay. To think the bigger problem has been in India, I think that we've had a lot of regionalization over the last 20, 25 years. I think it's not helped. I think while the rest of the world is trying to learn, the non-English speaking world is trying to learn English. We have lost that advantage. And I see that in football. I think a lot of the players cannot interact with their coaches. You see that when players give interviews, right? They're scrambling and trying to speak to those media people, right? Trying to speak in Hindi. It's not helped. We've not worked on those things in the last 20 years. Virat Kohli is also going to saw some Indians hitting it, but if they get chance, they would also. Yeah, you're very, very right. Do you think expecting structure and facilities for size of India population unrealistic compared to Europe? Urai, if you like it or not, you have structure in China. Totally different state, but they have a certain level of structure and infrastructure that we don't have. Leave the whole political side apart, which is their own problem. But if you look, the country of China, their infrastructure and what they've built over the last 20, 30 years. Wow. Right? Do you think population is also a huge issue for India because of their hygiene cannot be able to maintain properly? Morally, it starts with yourself. It is not what can the government, the country do for me? What do I do for my country? Indians love to, I love my India flag, this and that and everything, right? But do they really love their country? That is my observation of the last, I don't know. That's the sad part. They're right, I love my India flag, Republic Day, Independence Day, whatever, but the rest of the year they behave like, I don't know. That is the problem. In my opinion, as things stand, we are not having huge investments in sports in general. We need to organize competitions at school level and identify them at young age and then take them to academies. Maybe. I think there is enough investment going into the system. It just needs to be right. Let's stick to the topic of ISL, and this season the things will get tough for top 6 spots. Again, Red, it is going to get tough because inconsistency. Should AIFF have a CM instead of politician president like a corporate company? Babalu's, I had suggested in 2022 when the whole conversations were going on around the ban that you need to restructure the AIFF in such a way that you have a president. I think let the president be a politician, because you need a politician to get things done with the political class, which, a management guy or a business guy can get, or the business guy could get, but the business guy would then have to give up certain things. A CEO should be there. I think president on top, have on one side the administrative side taken care by the secretary general or general secretary, or whatever you want to call it, and have a CEO looking at the structure of Indian football, the future of Indian football, the national team, and all those things. Right? Take it forward. That's the reality. The ground reality of these decent economies is that we are required to pay. Yeah, but pay to play, what's the problem with pay to play? People are trying to keep the system running. Again, I helped the German Football Academy. The German Football Academy, if you tomorrow say that no one's paying for it, the German Football Academy shuts down in not even 1 second. Who's paying for the coaches? Who's paying for the system? They're not, they're trying to just the cost. Here our PM boasts about being Vishwa Guru people, Gaga. No, let's don't go down that route. Do you agree India is third world country, or they are hyping it about quality of lifestyle and living conditions? Morali, if I go to Bandra in Mumbai and I have enough money, you can live like anywhere else in the world, right? But you have to get out of that bubble. You have to go from A to B. From Bandra, at least you have to travel to the airport to go somewhere. So the reality is, sadly, India has developed a lot over the last 2-3 decades. But it is not developed the way it should have for everyone, and for the system. All of my friends are PhDs on STEM, best of the minds, but don't know how to behave and live. All are loud, messy, and arrogant. Yeah. And that arrogant part is because they think they've achieved something in life. They are someone. You don't need to be loud. In India, that's a problem. What a game it was, 5-5. I-League is a gift that keeps on giving, but sadly would forever remain in the shadows, neglected by the FF. Simon, I don't think it's neglected. And yeah, it's great. But I've been on the commentator, it's not of the quality of the ISL. I'm saying we need to keep getting better and not focus on what others are saying about us. Like I see people asking what foreigners think of us or how they look at us. Like, why does that matter? Because, Turbo, I think if you want to introspect, if you want to reflect on yourself, someone needs to show you the mirror. And in the Indian system, no one shows you the mirror at the moment. At least that is my learning and understanding of things. Last year, I played TT for the first time in my office. We had an indoor competition. I got liking of it. I've got more sports exposure in corporate in school. It's laughable. Yeah, but that's good, right? But that's sad on the other side. Given rare, these are all related to football. In fact, football issues are almost same as other issues in India. Zawar, very right. Very, very right. But you cannot judge a person intelligent, knowledge, problem solving, and logical abilities with the English language. Why can't I, Kumar? Regionalization has been the biggest mistake, in my opinion, that India has made over the last 25, 30 years. Biggest mistake. But hey, and we see that as I said, 15, 20 years. If you didn't want to speak English, you had to learn English to be able to interact with Stephen or with the ball. Today, we have players in the national team. We see that even in the ISL broadcast, players who don't speak proper English. Do you think that they understand what a Spanish coach whose English is not good in himself will try to explain to you? It's already forced to fail. Mia Blichfeld expressed the disappointment on Indian Open S20 tournament conditions. Yeah, but that's the reality of where we are. Where to watch Serie A, I have no clue. Does anyone know? Is the Serie A being broadcast? I know that at the start of the season, there wasn't a broadcast. Shapel says, Blue, yeah, she complained about the pollution and hygiene. Yeah. Listen, in 2018, I remember I was in Chandigarh at Round Glass. I came back Had to spend the night at Aerocity before flying out the next morning to Germany. I started in Chandigarh. This was, crop burning season. Chandigarh, blue skies, beautiful weather, not too warm. You crossed Ambala, and it looked like an American horror movie with things burning left and right, brown, black air. And I was staying in Aerocity in the hotel. Got on the plane next morning. My lung was choked. And I had a problem with my lung for 3 weeks. And I was coughing out black stuff for 3 weeks. And I was, 12 or 13 hours in that air, moving towards Delhi and then in Delhi. These are realities. India has a systematic problem. It's rotten to its core and people's mind too. Yeah, Akash. Do you think foreigners travel India for most spiritual purpose, even though they're called for a country? Probably wouldn't be able to tell you that. I don't know. Very few people can piece together clear words and answer interviews like Sunil Jing and Gurpreet dressed up bad at communication. Babalu's, yeah, a lot of them, not all. Some have improved, but that's part of the training that the clubs should do internally. I told a certain club about a couple of players who I saw in interviews and said, work on your Indian boys. Once I proposed to decide to ask government to make separate IS or IPS kind of things, for example, for Indian sports. Did you get a reply? The made culture in India is the cause for that lack of hygiene. If you live in the West, you're forced to clean up after yourself at home and outside. In India, even middle-class people have maids come every day to clean the home. Yeah, Rohit, that's a very valid thing. People should ask themselves why thousands of gated societies are popping up because they don't have any faith on government states, inside states. Yeah, it's like African conditions. I remember my brother-in-law said to me when he went to Nigeria in Abidjan, that was normal. I saw that in South Africa, Johannesburg myself. Whenever I visit India outside of Kolkata airport, reality gives me a heart slap. Exactly. You're at the airport, you think, okay, now you're in the new airport, looks good, looks fine, and then you get out of Dum Dum, and then 3 minutes outside of the airport, boom, 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 boom. Do you think certain are best and bright mind leave India, move abroad, settle there, and create value for them? I had Luxembourg, beautiful city, having visited. Yeah, Murali, they go outside, of course. Why do they go outside? Why do we have a brain drain in India? Because they think they'll have a better light outside. And Luxembourg, yes, I've been. Luxembourg, not a city, it's a country, Murali. So, the Japanese, for example, they don't care about foreigners, don't even like foreigners, but have worked themselves to a very high level. Tobo, the Japanese are a very, very peculiar thing. If we are at the standards of Japanese, then you don't need to care. We are at the standard, we need the world more than the world needs us. I think that's the first realization that India needs to have. If India is not careful, if the US government starts doing what it's thinking, what might happen in Canada, you might see a lot of Indians being forced to return to India, right? And that might happen down the road in Europe as well. So therefore, we are not in that same ship. The Japanese are very, very special. Even the Japanese are realizing that. The Japanese are getting, as a society, old. They need foreign inputs, and they're doing suddenly things they would have never done. I started my football training. I wasn't able to pay regularly to this gymkhana for coaching. I didn't have a team at school level too. I lived for 2 years alone watching YouTube videos in that reality. Yeah, it is sometimes, Rushabh, it is not nice. Was almost selected in Mumbai League, but locked out. Did you in, I will nicely say, Rushabh. Even religious thing affects South Asian sports too. That's something I want to change if someday I get power. Yeah, it can, but most probably sports is one thing where it is less obvious. Just imagine the capital of a country is so polluted. Yeah, Blues. And look at how China has turned around Beijing. Beijing was as polluted or even more polluted than Delhi a decade back, right? With electric cars, electro vehicles, and reducing coal power emissions and other things. They've turned it around. And in Delhi, it's getting worse and worse. Just watch a Punjab's home match with there and Delhi, absolutely hazy and foggy broadcasting. Yeah, Akash, exactly. AQI of Delhi is worse than world at present. Yeah. Space sector, digital infrastructure, these are the area only India can compete with first-class world. Morally, digital, yes, space sector, I don't know. I mean, with our problems do we have, is that really what our priority should be? I don't know. Do you think it's a worrying sign for BFC to have many old players above 30? I don't know if that's the player. I think the coach is playing around too much, tinkering too much with his lineup. The reason space sector succeeds is there's no purpose there. It falls directly under PM of office. I'm not sure. I was watching Delhi election cover. I couldn't believe this is a capital. Yeah. What a header from Chetty today. Yeah, once more. And it brings me to the point. Sunil needs to play for us, right? Japanese don't have religious things, south, north, west thing. Yeah. Very soon we will have intra-gated societies. League. Whoops, that's dangerous, Akash. How does Japan manage English despite struggle? They are brilliant technology in sports. Normally, they very often don't, but then are forced to learn it when they interact with the rest of the world. The smog is that in that Delhi, Punjab FC versus Mumbai City game shows how bad the AQI is in Delhi. Yeah, I will showcase that. I'll be in Delhi for the match against Jamshedpur on the 28th. So let's see, 27th the land. So let's see how bad it is. I was surprised most work top companies here are Indian despite the system. That doesn't mean anything. There are good quality people who work their way up. Japan, Korea also have a similar family structure and tradition, but they don't get the same complaints as Indians in hygiene, discipline, studying is superior and not really ready to change. Babalu's animation, the Japanese and the Koreans have changed over the last 100 years dramatically. They are hygienically even sometimes better than the Europeans. Right? So, I mean, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to observe a Japanese high-tech toilet, which, so these are the things. I read somewhere that there will be one invited team in South 2025. Is it true, sir? I don't know. It depends. If it is home and away format, then it will not be. If it is an 8-team tournament, they would invite a team to play. So that's the thing, I think, at the moment that's worked out by SAF. The whole stubble burning situation is dumb. People expect football players to play in that smoke. Rohit, forget playing football. People live in that. I am in Japan right now. The village culture here is something I admire. Even I can buy and drink beer and sake in local food shop. Thela, the way of people is so great and standard of living. Yeah, is awesome and high. Hygiene is a cultural and mental issue. Totally agree, Akash. Japanese follow Shintoism and Buddhism. Yeah, do you think people who criticize India for hygiene and civic sense, they go to bad side? No, they're spot on, in my opinion. Space sector is good because the founding fathers of ISRO established in such a way that the chairman is in contact with the PM. Okay. Me and my wife is really planning to stay in UK permanently, something I've never even thought 4 years ago. Gosh, that says it all. They are CEOs, not owners, right? They work. Now I'm concerned to understand why brain drain happens. Yes, Akash, that is a fact. Guys, I sorry need to come to an end. Again, this was more of a very generic discussion on India. And yeah, what are the issues and problems? Because the problems in India in general are the problems that we face, and to me, it's very, very important that we look at those things and try and improve them. And football, again, to me, football is just sadly reflecting those problems in a bad way. That that these are the ways things not to be, and I fear when I see Indian football at the moment. I was speaking yesterday to someone who's been also around for over 20 years. That person last summer left Indian football and said, I'm very, very happy about it because I have to think about it. So that's the thing. Right? Any advisor moving to Germany? I'm a front-end web developer, 1.5 years experience. Rishabh, Germany at the moment has its own set of problems. I think we have structural problems because we have what I call old industry, not really, especially in the car sector, which is one of the most important sectors. We've not gotten that transition from a petrol diesel motor to an EV vehicle, electronic vehicle. But if you're looking at it, Germany is looking for a number of jobs. Get in touch locally with the German consulate. They have a job fair at some stage in the. So yeah, that's something that you can try and see. Do you think AIFF FIFA Academy will produce better youngsters than the old other football academies? Rather, I'm not sure. It is too early to say. They have the FIFA system is good. FIFA is working with a number of countries, but again, it depends on the system, the exposure that these boys can get. I hope it will be better, but it has to prove itself. FIFA will do its inputs, but the AIFF also needs to do its part, and that is where the project could falter. Kieran Reyes says, Rush, problems of the country is heavily tilted to the problems of football. Yeah, Simon, very well said. I think football at the moment, to me, is a huge reflections of the problems and the issues that a country like India faces, right? To me, that is a huge problem. So therefore, guys, that is something, we've had a very philosophical and very honest discussion. Thank you, guys. That's why I love to talk to you as well, because we talk about the realities, if you like it or not, right? And it's sometimes not easy, but that's the problem. I think we're not enough people. We need this movement to grow. We need more people to come out and say honestly what they think and what they think are the issues and problems of Indian football, and not go on and on and on at referees, which I think is something. And and that's something. Rushabh here, a piece of advice from Georg Rare. Germany is more of automobiles, advanced automobiles tech. You also need so many certificates, including German speaking level certificate as well. So yeah, that's also a point. Lou says good night. Rama says good night and God save Indian football. I think that's the best way to end it. God save Indian football, or the gods, whichever God you believe in, has to save us. That's the thing that is left. But again, I'll be back. Not sure, 100% tomorrow. I might do a later one tomorrow because, yeah, I'm gonna go out for a friend's birthday now, and I will go out on a friend's birthday tomorrow for lunch. So maybe a little later on the show. But keep on supporting Indian football. Do support this channel. Spread the word about it. Let's grow. Let's keep on these conversations happening. And I thank you. I really, really enjoyed this. Simon, good night to you. Good night, Geron Red. Good night, Blue. Good night, all the others who've joined in. And if you're watching it later, as I say, like, share and subscribe. Do watch the other shorter videos as well. Do support this channel, and let's grow together. Thanks a lot. Good night, everyone.